Their advanced Light Force braces system or Invisalign will get you the best smile in the least amount of time. Book a free consultation online at clearsmilecharlotte.com.
A good soul isn't hard to find, especially if you're listening to WSIC on Tuesdays at 4.
Hello, and welcome to The Good Soul.
The Good Soul, hosted by Patty Alvarez, features real-world conversations that leave you feeling happy and rejuvenated.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello, happy Friday to you. You're listening to The Scoreboard, and yes, you guessed it, we are live in studio today. Everything that you hear is up to date as of today. It is Friday, June 20th, and I'm joined by Patrick Reynolds for the first segment. Patrick, thanks for stopping in today, man.
For having me on the scoreboard. Good to see you again.
I always love when me and you get to chat on the scoreboard because we seem to have good banter.
Yeah, we do.
In my opinion.
You know, sometimes I throw out the opposite idea for you just because. Yeah.
That's called good radio.
Yes. Patrick. I know. I personally, Stanley Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Boo, Stanley Cup. No.
Whoa.
No, I actually like it. It's a beautiful trophy. As we talked about on the HomeAd Show earlier. But yeah, it's, I just threw it out there.
I have, and we're going to get into a lot of things today. So we have the Stanley Cup, as Patrick said, was given out today, or a couple of days ago. We have Game 7 for the NBA Finals coming up on Sunday.
Yes, Game
as
7.
The Pacers won Game 6 to force Game 7. We have the NASCAR Cup Series heading to Pocono this weekend, a track that we are familiar with.
You and I both been there.
We have. Unlike the unfamiliar territory that we were in last week with
Mexico.
The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez.
Yes.
Yes?
It's difficult to say, but yeah.
It is hard to say.
Actually, the Rodriguez, a well-known Mexican family in motorsports to them. I did not know about them. I actually caught a little bit of history of that family during the prime broadcast of the race last week, but I was unfamiliar with the history.
Me too, yeah.
Strong Mexican auto racing history.
And I'll tell you what, while we're on the topic, 10 out of 10 once again to Amazon for their NASCAR
coverage.
broadcast.
Yeah.
They have been knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
They are making me not want them to stop.
Yes.
Goodbye, Fox. Goodbye, NBC. I don't even want to give TNT a shot. Let's just give Prime all of NASCAR from now on because they are knocking it out of the park.
They covered the sport like a professional sporting event, like the networks cover the other sports.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, the crew on some of these networks that we got in on to cover the NASCAR Cup Series treat it like a comedy show or a punchline as opposed to let's present this. Take another sport in another network and you tune into the NFL or the NHL or the NBA. They cover it like a professional sporting event, and we missed that in some of the NASCAR broadcasts. I loved it with Prime. They brought the X's, the O's. They still brought an opinion and personality, but it's still presented in a professional manner. I loved it.
And there's a great post race. That's
the important.
We've been missing a post race.
We've been talking about this for decades, and I'll tell you, we go back in time where ESPN and Fox and all these had a morning race pre-race show, and then you just back it up and do the math. Say the green was at, say, 2 o'clock.
Right.
Well, the pre-race show on the network would begin at 1, and then a different network would have a 2-hour pre-race show at, say, 11. So you'd have 3 hours, and then the green flag is technically like 2:37.
Yeah.
So you'd have like 3.5 hours of literal pre-race before the race started, and then as soon as the checkered falls, they're off the air. And there was no post-race. And the complaint has been for years and years and years, this is not new, of like, can we do a pre-race show but take some of that time away, give it to something else and give it a post-race show?
Yeah.
I'd rather have more post-race than pre-race.
I agree. I agree. But one of the things, and I was going to bring this up as kind of the presentation of the pre-race, making it a joke, that can be a good thing. NASCAR Race Day Live was great.
Oh, that one.
That was great.
That race day was
where they tried to copy
Game Day.
Game Day, college football game day. That was amazing.
That was different, but I almost say that is separate from the actual
Right.
broadcast.
That was on Speed Channel.
It was on Speed, and it
the
was
death of
not
the Speed Channel. That
Yeah, no,
is a big reason.
Breaks my heart.
Big reason that we don't have the things that we want.
Yeah,
anymore.
FS1 is now, or it became FS1.
Boo.
But Speed, tell me about it. But yeah, Speed Channel was separate from the actual network that had the broadcast of the race, where there was some lighthearted, because I'm a huge fan of Pat McAfee.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
he does
the
a
guy,
good job.
he brings comedy and lighthearted, a great personality, where it is not that buttoned up, tight presentation of professional sports. It is relaxed, but it's a separate broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
Game day on ESPN, they do carry into college football coverage,
Right.
but they also pitch it. Other networks also pick up. So that game day is almost unique, much like Speed Channel had the pre-race show. That's where you should have your Wallaces, your Michael Waltrip, your lightheartedness, so to speak,
Yeah.
your relaxed aspect. Because one of my favorite things about an F1 broadcast used to be the Martin Brundle grid walk, where he would just go.
He still does a good job.
And
of
he
that.
just, there's no script.
When he doesn't recognize someone,
Yeah,
it's gold.
it's 5-6 minutes of unscripted live television.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of Michael Waltrip doing
No.
it. It's a goofball segment that I don't enjoy.
He's too goofy for that.
Yeah, on TV.
Yeah.
On TV.
Kind of like the All-Star race with him waving the flag and dropping the
it.
flag. You're a
Man.
little too goofy for me, Michael.
Yeah.
Let's tone it back a little.
And I like Michael. I'm
me
a
too.
fan of
I love
Michael.
Michael.
But just
He's
in
a great
this role,
personality.
in this role, I don't care for that in him in this role. I like Michael. I'm a fan of Michael Waltrip. In this role, though, I like Martin Brundle's style.
Yes.
Or Amanda Busick used to do this a little bit in NHRA too, where it's unscripted. Amanda, I think, covers NASCAR now full-time, but she used to be a full-time NHRA reporter, and she used to do some unscripted, casual stuff, and it was gold. Because you just find stuff.
Yeah.
It's fishing, it's a gamble, but she did great stuff, and I miss that. I like that type of coverage. I don't like the goofiness of some networks.
Yeah, it can definitely be goofy.
Yeah.
But besides the goofiness of it, the presentation of the race, the camera angles, the way that they do it,
Great.
Amazon does great. And I want to
Fantastic.
make sure that
I
they
give
get
an A.
their props.
Give them an A.
Yeah, and I hope they get more races in the future.
Me too. I hope they
really
have
do.
next door. And don't complain about the streaming. It's 2025. That's the way of the world nowadays.
I saw a stat that said, and I don't know the exact numbers, but they were talking about how many TVs and how many cable subscriptions there are, how many Amazon subscriptions there are. There is a more of a market in Amazon. There are more people to be reached streaming through Amazon versus going cable.
Yeah, I believe that. You can track that too. Cable's a little bit more difficult to track, and streaming, boom, you want the rating numbers. They're there because you got to click on the stream to get it.
Exactly.
And it's very, very accurate. And it's like the stream of Prime still outdrew the Formula One race, the IndyCar race on network television last week. That shocked me.
Now, it's going to take a little bit. Their numbers, at least for comparison from, because we can't count Mexico because that's brand new.
Right.
But the numbers as far as people watching, it is down about 750,000 from last year, total people.
Yep.
But I just chalk that up to some people don't have Prime. They don't want, principle, I'm not getting Prime.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. So I think that's the way to go. And I think they're going to really go heavy into the streaming market.
It's a transition.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, we got a lot to talk about here today on the scoreboard. We're going to get into the NBA as Game 7 was forced last night, and we'll talk about the NHL Stanley Cup being handed out as well. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, happy first day of summer and feeling every bit like it too. Plenty warm, but not quite as humid behind our cold front yesterday. High temperatures in the upper 80s around Lake Norman this afternoon. We're going to drop the rain chance for a few days too, mainly staying dry for a while. But we are going to get hot. Overnight low temperatures fall down into the low 70s. We're back in the low 90s for our Saturday, and humidity creeps back in, mid-90s back by Sunday. That's your forecast. The WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. The 500 Club in Statesville presents golfing and bartending this weekend. On Friday, there is a mixology class, and on Sunday is a two-person team 9-hole tournament. Visit the 500 Club online for more information on events, food, beverages, and tea times. Symphony in the Park is back this Saturday in Cornelius. Coming out for an evening with the Charlotte Symphony under the stars at the Bailey Road Park Band Shell. Enjoy music, food trucks, local beer and wine, children's activities, and more. The evening wraps up with a fireworks display. Symphony in the Park begins at 6 p.m. Saturday at Bailey Road Park in Cornelius. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series is at Charlotte Motor Speedway for race number 4 on Tuesday, June 24th. It is NASCAR night presented by the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Head to Gate 4 at the Speedway for their weekly promotion. Wear your favorite NASCAR driver gear on June 24th and get $5 off admission pricing. Click on charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information. The Exchange Club of Mooresville presents the annual Field of Flags July 2nd through the 5th at Lowe's YMCA. The field commemorates our veterans, service members, and first responders. The summer celebration featuring a ceremony, a concert by area favorite Blue Monday, and fireworks will be held on July 3rd. Flags are on sale now. Visit MooresvilleLKNExchange.org to make your purchase and for more information about the Field of Flags and the summer celebration, July 3rd at Lowe's YMCA in Mooresville. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Swing for hope at the Next Chapter Station Golf Classic on September 22nd at the 500 Club in Statesville to help bring hope and comfort to children fighting cancer. Your support helps us deliver the book Luke and the Lost Bell to 1,000 hospitals. Register, sponsor, donate at nextchapterstation.org.
Joe Berg back up to bat. We're back with more of The Scoreboard presented by the Lake Norman Harbor Hippos on WSIC. Local starts here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Scoreboard. It is segment 2 here on this Friday. We're talking about Amazon Prime and their broadcast of the NASCAR Cup Series races and how well they've been doing lately. The next race for the Cup Series is at Pocono coming up this Sunday. Coverage on Prime will begin around 2 o'clock. I'm excited for Pocono. I like Pocono. I think the best part about it is the restarts, obviously, because they get 4, 5, 6 wide. But I like Pocono. I think it's a fun track. Should be good. I do want to move on from NASCAR real quick, though, and get to some of the other things that have been going on around the league. Now, I talked about this in the intro of the show. I wanted to discuss the NBA and some of the things that are being said about players on the Pacers. One player in particular, Tyrese Halliburton. Patrick, are you familiar with the story on Tyrese Halliburton over the past 2 days or so?
Over the past 2 days, no, but I know he's been a showstopper, game-winning guy through the series.
Through the playoffs.
He's been through the playoffs. He's been draining these last second game-winning shot. He's had the cape and the boots on and the utility belt. He's been the superhero for the Pacers. What's his story last couple days?
So game 5, Tyrese Halliburton got injured.
Uh-huh.
And the report was a strained calf.
Okay.
A strained calf.
Now you're pausing here.
Yes.
Okay.
Media went wild.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Tyrese Halliburton strained his calf. He's done. The Pacers are done. They're not going to win another game. Oklahoma City has won this series.
Right.
Obviously, that didn't happen because, it's a team sport.
Yeah.
The injury for Tyrese Halliburton, strained calf, is usually about a 1 week injury or so. He decided to play through the injury, which props to him. Good for you.
Yep.
In the finals, 2 games left in the season, definitely play through that injury. My problem with this is not that he decided to play through the injury. It's the commentary by ESPN, by NBA analysts of, oh my goodness, Tyrese Halliburton is playing through a strained calf. What a warrior. The greatest warrior we've had all playoff. He's amazing. He should be praised for this. No. No, he should not.
No.
No. It's a strained calf. It's the NBA Finals. You want to win? Suck it up. Get out there and play. You on a strained calf is still better than some of the bench players. And the reason that this upsets me so much is because of the other playoff series going on at the same time, not the same days, obviously, but the NBA Finals. I always say this at the end of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The injury report that comes out after everyone's been eliminated always shocks me. Not saying, oh, wow, he was injured. Literally shocks me. Matthew Tkachuk, the forward for the Panthers, was injured during the Four Nations face-off. If you remember that whole thing that they did.
Yeah, I do remember
He was
that.
injured during the Four Nations face-off, which was February. Not that long ago.
Yeah.
In those games, Matthew Tkachuk tore his adductor off of his bone, completely off the bone, and he had a hernia. And he played through it for the entirety of the playoffs. He missed the rest of the regular season, couldn't play, not healed, not even close to healed, and he played throughout the all series in the playoffs for the Florida Panthers. No praise, no media attention. Nobody saying, oh my goodness, what a warrior. You're playing through a muscle that keeps your midsection intact, being torn off the bone, and all the attention is going to Tyrese Halliburton for playing through a strained calf. It makes me so angry that is what people are latching on to. I don't understand it. And maybe it's just because the NBA is more popular, not much more popular anymore, but still more popular than the NHL. But I don't think NHL players ever get the credit that they deserve at the end of the playoffs.
A couple things come to mind. First of all, it hurt me just sitting here as a radio host when you listed off the injuries. I felt pain in my body. I'm mentally putting the pain. And then my default was what you just said. I think the NBA just more mainstream. I can name more players in the NBA than I can the NHL. I don't like the NBA more than the NHL. I like them both kind of equally. But yeah, just I think the mainstream celebrity, maybe the recognition is a better word than celebrity.
Yeah.
Mainstream recognition of the NBA. I don't know ratings-wise. You say it's more popular, not by much. The numbers, some little.
I think the last time I saw it, the NBA probably averages about 500,000 more viewers
per
game.
Okay. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot.
It's not.
And 500,000 people is a lot of people, but in the ratings number, no.
Right.
You're talking points.
Right.
So yeah, I think maybe the reactionary of like ESPN talking heads, they try to cater to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that. I've seen the evolution of that network over the years. You talk about you talk about what we just talked about in the first segment of the goofiness versus actual reporting.
Yeah,
is ESPN has gotten very, very much more commentary wise as opposed to facts reporting. SportsCenter used to be a show for exactly what I'm looking for that we talked about with the Prime NASCAR coverage. X's and O's. Facts, stories,
highlights,
news, reporting. That's what I want. Give me the facts, give me the results, give me the news. And ESPN has evolved from that to a lot of its commentary.
Right.
You know what? You can almost say that by American journalism about all things. How in my lifetime I've seen American journalism shift from more fact delivery to commentary.
Right.
It's like if I want just facts on the news, certainly sports too, it's more difficult to find. So getting back to ESPN, I think they may be catering to what they think the audience wants to hear. as opposed to actual facts, to your point of NHL versus NBA. Injury report, why are we getting praise to Halliburton? Not that he shouldn't get recognition for what he's doing.
Right. Playing through a strained calf in the NBA is definitely something.
Absolutely. That's a story.
Right.
It's a big story. But like me having a strained calf and then, that would take some suffering from me to get through. And I sit in a chair and do a radio show. But it would take some sacrifice on any normal human's part, not a professional athlete. Let's not minimize a strained calf. Oh boy, that's a big deal.
Right.
You've had minor injuries that would debilitate you and I, but like a pro athlete, just like grit their teeth and suck it up and go through it. It's like, wow.
Well, they got all the needles they can numb the pain with.
Yeah, still humans to humans though. So I think that's it, is ESPN catering to what they think the audience wants to hear.
Yeah.
Versus, to your point, there's an injury report that I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy is from planet Krypton or something like that.
Like, how is his body even holding up?
Yeah, how is he getting out of bed?
Yeah.
Forget hockey.
Playing, not playing baseball doing this. Playing golf. Getting hit.
Yeah. No, you're hockey.
Hard.
Skating.
Yeah.
On ice. Yeah.
It just frustrates me that it doesn't get the attention that, like, that feels like it should have led news stories. Like, the one of the most popular, one of the best players on this team had a major injury, played through it, and the team still won the Stanley Cup. Yeah. It just frustrates me sometimes.
Another reason why the scoreboard on WSIC should be syndicated and nationwide, because you're covering the stories for real, man.
Look, I tell it how it is.
I know, which I like, which causes us to sometimes disagree with each other.
True.
Because I tell it like it is so to you, and I'm like, we see this, lots of sports talk you and I have had on air and off air over the past, year, 2 years, whatever it's been. It's like, we agree sometimes, we disagree too. And it's like, that's cool. It's like, you tell it how it is, how you see it. I like that. Don't like ESPN. Cater to the audience. No, Joe doesn't cater to what Patrick wants to hear.
No.
Joe says what he thinks. I may agree. I may disagree.
And that's the beauty of it.
That's what I dig about the scoreboard.
If you disagree, call in 704 or 844-STUDIO-4, 844-STUDIO-4. Almost read the old number.
Yeah.
The really old number.
844-STUDIO-4, 844-788-3464. Same numbers as the HomeAd Show.
Yes, same numbers as the HomeAd Show. Another thing with this NBA, NHL stuff.
Yeah.
We're at that time where it's the end of the year, both the championships are being handed out, and it happens like at the same time for both of these sports.
Yeah.
You have these injury reports, right? And it's fine. I get it. You're going to play through a strained calf. Good. Let's talk regular season too, though. You don't hear about NHL players sitting out games in the regular season.
No, you don't.
You hear all the time NBA players, 82 games is a lot. We're playing back-to-back days. I've watched NHL teams play back-to-back days. They don't care. They get out there and play.
They both got an 82-game season.
And the amount of money that NBA players get to play 60 out of 82 games is absurd. I feel like the general public should realize that they're kind of getting gypped with the NBA and stray away from it here and come to the dark side. Go watch some hockey. Go watch some hockey. Because it's Canadian. People don't want to watch that because it's Canadian.
What happened? Canada. What happened?
Exactly. By the way,
Canada.
Here's a funny one. The last 6 years, the NHL has had a Florida team in the Stanley Cup. They've won it 4 times. Canada has not won a Stanley Cup in the 21st century.
Irony, the name is NHL.
We'll be back on the scoreboard. Don't go anywhere. We got more to talk about.
More of sports director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, happy first day of summer and feeling every bit like it too. Plenty warm, but not quite as humid behind our cold front yesterday. High temperatures in the upper 80s around Lake Norman this afternoon. We're going to drop the rain chance for a few days too, mainly staying dry for a while. But we are going to get hot. Overnight low temperatures fall down into the low 70s. We're back in the low 90s for our Saturday, and humidity creeps back in, mid-90s back by Sunday. That's your forecast. The WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hi, This is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Have you taken the Desco Challenge? Desco is where the professional goes for electrical supplies.
My name is Ashley. I just redid the lighting in my home, and the customer experience at Desco was second to none.
See for yourself at DescoInc.com.
Harrison's is the home of Work Western and wow! For nearly 30 years, our family has been boots on the ground when it comes to work. We have the largest selection of in-stock boots in the Carolinas and the best workwear brands like Harriet, Carhartt, and Wrangler. Find us on Norman Station Boulevard in Mooresville.
Join the Harbor Hippos family. It's not just a game, it's a community. Join the fun this summer at Huntersville Athletic Park. From single tickets to season passes and sponsorship opportunities, we've got something for everyone. Visit harborhippos.com to get your tickets and gear today. Opening day is May 30th. Don't miss out.
Take your life by the reins and let the horses at Willow Equine heal and empower you. Located in Mooresville, our services help with trauma, anxiety, depression, and addiction. Love life again. Visit willowequine.com today.
Hey folks, you know Randy Marion is the king of price when it comes to buying a new vehicle or a pre-owned vehicle, but how about king of price when it comes to the service department? Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, Randy Marion Ford Lincoln in Statesville has you covered on tires, brakes, batteries, wipers, you name it. Any service you need on your vehicle, regardless of the make or model, come see Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville Service Department or Randy Marion Ford Lincoln Service Department today.
Need a ride? iCats has you covered. Tuesdays to the VA in Salisbury, Thursday to Winston-Salem, and Fridays to Hickory. Plus, run errands every day around Iredell County for just $1. Visit rideicats.com.
Think theater is just about acting? Think again. At Mooresville Community Children's Theater, kids discover confidence, creativity, and community, whether they're center stage or calling cues backstage. Workshops, productions, mentorship, it's all part of helping young people grow. Lake Norman Woman is proud to support and recognize Mooresville Community Children's Theater as one of the nonprofit organizations impacting our community at the Lake Norman Woman of the Year Gala presented by Optimed. Because supporting the arts means investing in bright futures.
Welcome to a Bible Minute with Pastor Randy Mitchell from Temple Baptist Church in Statesville.
The Bible says in 1 John chapter 2, verse number 15, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him." Folks, when God talks about loving the world is not just the breaking of the Ten Commandments. The world is a system, and the worldly system is orchestrated by Satan. It feeds off of our fleshly sinful nature, and it's everything about us that wants to influence us and affect our life toward things that dishonor God. The next verse talks about the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life. These are all the things, the categories of the love of the world. But obviously, a relationship with God is a love relationship. We have to make a choice. You can love the world or you can love God, but you can't do both.
Thanks for listening to a Bible Minute with Pastor Randy Mitchell here on WSIC.
The button pushing stops here.
WSIC. Local starts here.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The chip wars continue. Advanced Micro Devices released its new AI accelerator chips that it says will rival industry leader NVIDIA's chips. AMD says it also plans to ship a next-generation version that is even more powerful. NVIDIA is also planning a next-gen chip release in 2026. The market for AI chips is expected to reach $500 billion by 2028. President Trump's once again extending the deadline for a TikTok sale. The popular video-sharing app's China-based owner ByteDance now has until September 17th to sell it or have it possibly banned in the U.S. This is the third time Trump has extended the deadline. Elon Musk's XAI snapping up X for $33 billion is getting some unwanted attention by EU regulators. The European Commission wants more information on X's corporate structure after they buy out. Musk may be facing fines in violation of the EU's Digital Services Act, which could be as high as 6% of the company's yearly global revenue. Erica Herskowitz, Bloomberg Radio.
It ain't easy being number one, but we make it look good.
WSIC.
Joe Berg back up to bat. We're back with more of The Scoreboard presented by the Lake Norman Harbor Hippos on WSIC. Local starts here.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. If you have something you'd like to chat about. This show is proudly sponsored by the Lake Norman Harbor Hippos. Head on out to Huntersville, the Huntersville Athletic Park, to check out their games. A lot of fun to go to a Lake Norman Harbor Hippo game. The next game is tonight, 7 o'clock. Now, they had a few games rained out. Sunday, Monday. They had a doubleheader they were supposed to have on Monday, but we all know the weather did not hold up. So some games getting rescheduled here, and we got some doubleheaders coming up later in the year, more than likely. But a lot of season left, so head on out to the Huntersville Athletic Park. I'll be attending some more games before the end of the year. The Lake Norman Harbor Hippos games, a lot of fun to be at. They're having a pretty good season, even though they did lose last week. The final score was 18-1 in one of those games. Yikes. But for the Hippos, they have 6 wins on the year and 6 losses on the year. So 500 right now, but having a good year. Having a good year for their first year ever. And we talked about this before. There's no practice. These kids just all kind of showed up and started playing together. We do have a caller into the Scoreboard, so let's go ahead and bring that caller on the air. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the Scoreboard. What do you have for me today?
Good morning, Joe Bird.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good, man. It's been a long time since
I know. Good to hear from you.
Yeah. Hey, just got to bring up the topic of little golf talk here since my Tar Heels are off season. But wanted to get your opinion on the incredible season of Scotty the Chef Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. Coming down to these two guys, they're I think in the battle for Player of the Year. Each got 3 wins, and I think Scheffler's got like 10 top 10s out of 14 starts.
Yeah,
and they're both like around 14, 15 million already.
And didn't he win 3 of 4 of his last 4 tournaments? Is that the number that's right?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's incredible. And he was leading through yesterday's first round, shot like a 62 or something. And so Scheffler's just having another amazing season. But just wanted to get your opinion, see what between the two of those, if you had to vote right now for golfer of the year between Rory and the Chef, who would you pick?
I would probably lean Rory right now. Last year seemed like the year of Scotty, and this year Rory did get that Masters, which I think it's huge, invaluable for him. But more importantly, in my opinion, is this is what golf needed, and I think they need to market this a little bit better, because you have 2 players who are just on a different end of the spectrum than everyone else right now, it seems. This needs to be marketed as, and even if the players don't think it is, it needs to be marketed as a rivalry. It needs to be Scotty versus Rory. It needs to be a storyline, because that's what golf needs right now. They've been ailing for something to really sink their teeth into ever since Tiger really started to wind down his career. And I think that this is something that golf needs to look at. The PGA needs to notice how good these 2 have been recently and say, okay, we need people to understand that this is now a rivalry. We need people to pick sides, and that's how they're going to continue to get eyes on golf. Because like I said, it's kind of been in a little bit of limbo ever since we've had Tiger start to slow down.
Right, yeah. Back in the day when it was kind of Tiger and Phil were both at their prime, kind of playing off each other. And, they would kind of pick with each other and, have a little comment in the media and whatnot. What do you think about, should there be a little contest, maybe the PGA versus LIV, maybe like the top guys from each of those kind of going head-to-head? That might generate some interest in golf and get the ratings up there for both networks. Just kind of create a little buzz, and, there's kind of people that, kind of pick both sides. I mean, I enjoy watching both of them, but what What do you think about something like that?
Yeah, and the only thing about doing something like that is I don't think the PGA wants to really give publicity to Live Golf. And letting their players participate in the majors was a massive step in this process, but I don't know what it's going to take for the PGA and Live to end up working together, but I know from reporting that they're not buddy with each other. Live Golf was created specifically to be competition for the PGA. So I don't know how much the PGA wants to give them publicity. Now, unless they are thinking of actually combining and going under the same umbrella with two different styles of golf, then we'll probably see something of the sort. But until then, I think it's just going to be a sour relationship for years to come.
Yeah. I think that would definitely, drive some interest, though, because people, always want to see like a battle between teams or guys or anything like that. It creates like a buzz and talk about it, and just drives interest. And I know what you're saying as far as, it would probably help Live out more than them, so they don't want to give any positive publicity to the Live side. But I don't know, just a thought. Just think it would be interesting kind of see, what could happen. But
I do think that it would be good for the fan. Obviously, the person at home watching is going to finally be able to watch everyone together again if they end up figuring something out. But until then, it's just they're going to be picking sides.
Yeah. Hey, what'd you think about that U.S. Open, huh? I would have been lucky to shoot 150, I think, on that course.
I know. I always make the joke that I'm decent at golf. I can shoot 100 on the front nine. I don't even know if I would have broke 200 on the front nine with how that was. I think we need more challenging golf courses.
I think I'll just keep my driver in the bag and just shoot like mid irons for the whole course. Just make sure you keep it in the fairway. That seemed to be the trick on that one.
Exactly.
Rough, it's no man's land.
I would love to see more difficult courses be built and have these guys really struggle. Because when you watch a golf tournament and everybody's like 15 under at the end of the weekend, it's like, all right, where was the challenge, But the U.S. Open was very entertaining, and what an ending to it as well.
Yeah, these guys are human after all, huh?
Exactly. Who would have thought?
Yeah. All right, Joe, I'll let you go, buddy. Good chatting with you, and hope you have a good weekend.
Absolutely. Good to talk with you as well. You enjoy the weekend. Always glad to hear from you.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, the PGA and Live Golf, it's going to be a sour relationship for years to come. And not only that, but until the PGA and Live Golf can both have the exact same format, because Live Golf plays 3 days, they don't play 4 days. So until everybody's playing the same amount of golf, I just don't see how you can do any kind of a combined thing. Or now, unless you're going to say, okay, this year we'll play it with these rules, next year we'll play it with these rules, maybe, but there's just so many question marks with that. And first and foremost, they got to figure out the relationship. If it's a partnership, what is Live? What is PGA? Where do they stand with each other? It's kind of where that's at. We got one more segment coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Got to go to break. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
Time for the 7th inning stretch. We'll be back with more The Scoreboard, presented by the Lake Norman Harbor Hippos on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, happy first day of summer and feeling every bit like it, too. Plenty warm, but not quite as humid behind our cold front yesterday. High temperatures in the upper 80s around Lake Norman this afternoon. We're going to drop the rain chance for a few days, too, mainly staying dry for a while. But we are going to get hot. Overnight low temperatures fall down into the low 70s. We're back in the low 90s for our Saturday, and humidity creeps back in, mid-90s back by Sunday. That's your forecast. The WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. The 500 Club in Statesville presents golfing and bartending this weekend. On Friday, there is a mixology class, and on Sunday is a 2-person team 9-hole tournament. Visit the 500 Club online for more information on events, food, beverages, and tea times. Symphony in the Park is back this Saturday in Cornelius. Coming out for an evening with the Charlotte Symphony under the stars at the Bailey Road Park Band Shell. Enjoy music, food trucks, local beer and wine, children's activities, and more. The evening wraps up with a fireworks display. Symphony in the Park begins at 6 p.m. Saturday at Bailey Road Park in Cornelius. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series is at Charlotte Motor Speedway for race number 4 on Tuesday, June 24th. It is NASCAR night presented by the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Head to Gate 4 at the Speedway for their weekly promotion. Wear your favorite NASCAR driver gear on June 24th and get $5 off admission pricing. Click on charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information. The Exchange Club of Mooresville presents the annual Field the Flags July 2nd through the 5th at Lowe's YMCA. The field commemorates our veterans, service members, and first responders. The summer celebration featuring a ceremony, a concert by area favorite Blue Monday, and fireworks will be held on July 3rd. Flags are on sale now. Visit MooresvilleLKNExchange.org to make your purchase and for more information about the Field of Flags and the summer celebration, July 3rd at Lowe's YMCA in Mooresville. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
If you're a builder and you haven't went to Little Shaver's Wood Shop, you're missing all types of lumber products, hard to find woods and paneling materials that are in stock and ready to help you conquer anything the job throws your way. Locally owned, Little Shaver's Wood Shop has a friendly, knowledgeable staff to get you in, out, and on with your day. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, 3301 Salisbury Highway in Statesville. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, LILshavers.com.
Get ready, baseball fans. The Harbor Hippos are here to make a splash this summer. Catch the action starting May 30th at Huntersville Athletic Park. Season, group, or single tickets are now available. Head over to www.harborhippos.com to get your tickets and gear today. Don't miss out.
Joe Berg back up to bat. We're back with more of The Scoreboard presented by the Lake Norman Harbor Hippos on WSIC. Local starts here.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Final segment here on this Friday. We have a Game 7 for the NBA Finals coming up on Sunday, as we talked about. The Florida Panthers are your back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. The NASCAR Cup Series heads to Pocono after they were down in Mexico. Shane Van Gisbergen getting the win there. Surprise, surprise. We do have a caller in the studio, so let's go ahead and get that caller on air. It is Lenny. Lenny, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm great, Joe. I miss you, and now you're on live, and lucky I'm alive to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, my good friend.
What do you got for me today?
Joe, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
That's number one.
Thank you.
Thanks, my best wishes. I'm going to get into baseball to start. A catcher. You can't run into the catcher in, Major League Baseball. But if you're coming home, you could jump over his head, and if he doesn't tag you, and you don't kick him in the face or knock his eye out, that's okay. The rule. And when the pitcher's on the mound, he's always getting the signals from the catcher, 1, 2, 3. I think that the pitcher should just give a signal to the catcher, like the pitch that he wants to throw, and nobody, you wouldn't have to worry about all that nonsense. And also in Major League Baseball, they have the official scorer. He's usually a hometown newspaper reporter, and that's ridiculous. So he wants to get autographs from some of these great baseball players, and some baseballs for his children and grandchildren, and so he's very partial to score for the home team. They should make it an umpire that gets paid for and is the official scorer. And then also, if you hit a fly ball in and there's a guy on first and second base, but you hit a deep shot like 400 feet, you should be able to get a sacrifice in your statistics just as well as if you bunted them over. And then I want to tell you about in basketball. I'm sick of the fans. I'm sick of the fans going defense. I'm just sick of it. What they got to do in basketball is they got to put with 5 seconds to go on the shot clock, they should have a buzzer going off so the player realizes there's 5 seconds less to do it. And also, these girls that are playing softball, they should play a 9-inning game and not a 7-inning game. And think about it in basketball. If you're dribbling the ball and you have contact, they don't know if they should call a charge or a defensive call. It's a very tough call to make. And sometimes the guy goes down to the floor. When the guy goes down to the floor, he's flopping if you didn't call him up. If you have to make a call. In other words, it has to be a charge or it has to be a flop. And they don't even blow the whistle on that play. And how about when you're watching a basketball game and you see these refs pulling up their pants all the time? Don't you think they get a pair of pants that they're not falling down during the course of a game? It's completely crazy, if you think about it. And I know they should move the 3-point shot back because these guys are just incredible. They have to move it back. And then in tennis, I just got to ask somebody. I've been saying this for years. Why do they play a big match, one player playing a single match against each other, and they play that match for the Wimbledon Championship on double lines? They play on a double court. Why don't they just make one court for the tennis that there's only one set of lines instead of 2 set of lines? I think I said a few different things here to complain about, and I always want your expertise if you have some time to go over it. And I think you should be getting some more hours because we miss you over here.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely going to talk about some of the things that you brought up. You made some good points there. So I do appreciate you calling in today. Always great to hear from you, and glad you're feeling well.
I am, and thank you so much. I'll be listening to you, and because I know you're the man.
Thank you, Lenny. Thank you.
Take care, Joe.
You have a good one. Good to hear from you today.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. A lot of good information there. A lot of good stuff. Man, my favorite one. Let's get these NBA officials fitted for better pants. I'm going to be honest. I didn't notice it. I did not notice it. But, if they're having problems, I would assume that it's in the NBA's budget to get these guys pants that fit. You're paying the players how much? At least get the referees some nice pants. One of the things that you brought up, I have always been not confused about, but I've just always questioned why, is the official scorer in Major League Baseball. It's not an employee of Major League Baseball. It's not an umpire. Like you said, it's usually a reporter for the hometown team. And it does matter because an error could be seen as a hit or vice versa, depending on who you're rooting for. And I know baseball kind of gets sucked into this human element of the game. That's why we don't want robot umpires. That's why we don't want replay. Baseball has always had the human element story behind it where, yeah, this umpire has a little bit of a different strike zone than this guy. Or, hey, this scorer is a little bit more lenient on errors and base hits than this scorer. And, it doesn't change the game per se, but it does change statistics. And at the end of the day, statistics is what gets you paid in Major League Baseball. So that's definitely an interesting one. And the defense chanting. Okay. I don't have a problem with it in the NBA, but one thing that I've noticed recently about defense chants and crowds in general at sporting events Why are hockey fans chanting defense when their team is on the penalty kill? I don't understand that, because I guess you're playing defense, but it's a free-flowing game. You could go from defense to offense like that, kind of like basketball. But at least basketball, it makes more sense because there is legitimate possession. One thing that irks me about crowds in the past 3-4 years or so is the singing. Oh my goodness. I don't want to hear the crowd singing while the puck is in play or while the ball is in play. I get it. He played Country Roads. We all know the lyrics to the song. The entire stadium does not need to sing it while the game is being played. That frustrates me. That bothers me. I don't know why, but it does. Just watch the game. Chant, cheer. Don't sing. We're not at a concert. We're at a sporting event. Gosh. Singing. It's so annoying. Now, I get it if it's like, I know there's some college football venues that do it like in between quarters. I think Michigan has one of the most popular ones right now. That's in between quarters. That's fine. The game is not happening in front of me, and you guys are singing. Moving on. We're getting towards the end of the program here today, and as we do every single day, we like to talk about, or every single Friday, we like to talk about things that happened on this day in sports history. Today is June the 20th. It was on this day, and as I almost drop my laptop here, it was on this day in 2019, Zion Williamson was the first pick of the draft. 2019. The can't-miss prospect, Zion Williamson. Man, what a disappointing career that's been. Let's see, what else? We got some other things going on. 2013, Miami Heat beat the San Antonio Spurs in Game 7 for back-to-back titles. LeBron James won his second straight MVP. 2006, the Miami Heat beat the Mavericks without LeBron. Dwayne Wade was the MVP of that one. We got a few others here. 1994, former NFL running back O.J. Simpson arraigned on the murder of Nicole Simpson and Ronald Goldman. That was on this day, 1994. And let's go with the early ones. 1896, U.S. National Championship Women's Tennis in Philadelphia. Elizabeth Moore beats the defending champion, Juliet Atkinson. That was on this day, 1896. Here's another interesting one. 3 of the first 4 Yankees hit by pitch en route to a 6 hit by pitch game. That's a record, by the way. Thanks, everyone, for tuning into the scoreboard today. I appreciate each and every one of you as my laptop has fallen. It's all over the place today. We got a Game 7 coming up on Sunday. We'll talk about it next week. Then we'll get all the way into baseball season. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys next week. See ya.
Serving you better than ever before.